We have some major updates coming out of Boston and how this team is going to look defensively in the form of quotes from the one and only Craig Breslow. I'm here to break down all of the quotes as well as some other information from very notable names, again, discussing how this team should look defensively when the 2025-2026 MLB season officially starts. I'm here to break it all down on this episode of Red Sox Digest. But first, if you guys are not already subscribed and you are a part of the 86.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed, scroll down, click the subscribe button. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down the big updates on defensive positioning for this Red Sox team going forward. Now, we're going to first start with an article written by Sean McAdam, who we've cited so many times on this channel as he's a great, reliable source. He tweeted this article, with the tweet, Craig Breslow on Rafael Devers, going on to say, and again, quoting Breslow, these things tend to work themselves out. And again, that's the end of the quote from Breslow that he posted in the tweet. And if you click on the photo of Devers, it takes you to the article where, again, we get a bunch of quotes from Breslow that we're now going to read and break down. I think having really good players that are talking about positions is not a terrible place to be in, said Breslow. I said it when we were talking about Alex Bregman and introducing him that my obligation is to put the best team on the field, on both offense and defense that I possibly can. That's why I'm committed to. That's what Alex Cora is committed to. That's what the organization is committed to. I feel like that we owe it to our fans, so we'll continue to have those conversations. Now, this is something that we've heard Breslow say time and time again throughout this entire offseason, despite not seeing massive moves, at least outside of the pitching realm side of things. Again, we did see Crochet, Buehler, Sandoval, the list goes on, of notable names that we did go out and acquire from either the starting rotation or coming out of the bullpen. Again, we needed that right-handed bat. We didn't end up going out and getting all these different names, but when we did go out and get Alex Bregman, it was notable, and that's what we needed. And honestly, credit to Breslow. Despite not making all of the significant moves, he did go out and make substantial ones, and in doing so, I can say after watching Crochet and Bregman have their first appearances yesterday against the Toronto Blue Jays, we definitely got better from last year, and that is very exciting to see. Now, Sean McAdam would continue to say in his article, Breslow also said the Red Sox are being careful not to overreact to initial reluctancy expressed by Devers. Going on again to quote Breslow, these things tend to have a way of working themselves out, he said. This is not the first situation where a player's been outspoken about something that they take a lot of pride in, and that's okay. Like I said, they tend to work themselves out. Again, another quote from Craig Breslow that seems a bit reassuring, a bit calm, a bit just at ease, if you will, about this entire situation, despite it seeming a bit drastic. Obviously, Rafael Devers has already been taken care of. 10 years, $313.5 million contract giving to him by Chaim Bloom, who is now in St. Louis. We've heard all the conversations about how he was promised a third base position for the time going forward as he's a Red Sox. And now we go out and acquire Bregman. It seems like we didn't have a conversation with Devers throughout the entirety of the offseason saying, hey, we're going to look for a third baseman. We're looking for a defensive improvement. We're looking for a right-handed bat to move into the third base spot. And obviously, like we mentioned in, I believe it was 2 videos ago on this channel, highlighting Jared Carabas and his ideas and his thoughts on this entire situation, you can't do that because if you go to Devers and you tell him that, and then you don't go out and acquire another, again, someone like Alex Bregman, then you just diminished your entire process with Devers. And the idea that you've now diminished his entire confidence level and the idea that, hey, we're looking to replace you. And then you never do. And then we get to the season, it's like, hey, we never got to replace you, so you get to play. And it's like, well, you don't really want me there. Why would I want to play for you guys if you don't want me there? You attempted to replace me, and you weren't able to do your due diligence and go out and acquire these guys in the offseason. So not only did you diminish my really want to be here, but overall my confidence defensively at third base, but also you showed an inability to go out and be active in the offseason and really highlight how good Boston is to play for. And again, so I enjoy the fact that we didn't approach him too early because there is a world where we don't get Alex Bregman. There is a world where we miss out on all the key names that we did up until Bregman, and then Bregman is added to that list, and the Red Sox are not as good and not as good a position, I should say, as they are currently with the additions that we did go out and acquire this past off season. Now, the last quote we're going to highlight from that article written by Sean McAdam, again, quoting Breslow. I don't want to say that any single individual shoulders the burden in totality, cautioned Breslow. But part of the reason we as an organization feel that Alex is the perfect manager for the Red Sox is his ability to command a clubhouse. His ability to communicate with players across different cultures and ethnicities. He's such a great communicator. Again, the end of the quote from Craig Breslow discussing on how significant and important someone like Alex Cora is going to be in this situation particularly, but again, in totality to this Red Sox organization because of his ability to not only discuss and communicate to these different players, regardless of where they're from, regardless of how old they are, regardless of them being a rookie, a 10-year player, an 8-year player, being a lifetime Red Sox, to being the newest addition to the Red Sox team. Alex Cora is going to be able to communicate with them because he's not scared to have the conversation. And again, he's been involved in the game of baseball for so long, whether it be as a player, whether it be as a coach, whether it doesn't matter. He's been involved in the organizations, many different ones, again, in many different roles. And because of that, he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of confidence in his abilities, in what he sees, in his... And not only are we confident in Cora, but again, Cora is confident in himself. And again, going back, like we mentioned earlier, highlighting the thoughts and ideas from Jared Carabas that we, again, 2 videos ago on this channel, where he vocalized this as well. To be confident in Alex Cora. If you're going to be confident and you're going to be timid in the idea of this entire debacle going on between the Red Sox, Bregman, Christian Campbell, the Red Sox organization as a whole, take a step back, realize that Alex Cora is at the helm of this team in the clubhouse, and put some faith in this young man. And again, a little asterisk next to young man because, again, he's been involved in this game of baseball almost as long as I've been alive. And that's a great thing. That is a phenomenal thing. It's someone that we want at the helm. That's someone that we want in the clubhouse leading the way for these young men and really producing the best roster, the best lineup, the best defensive positioning players that we possibly can going forward for this Red Sox team. Now, the last thing we are going to highlight on this channel, because that was it from this article written by Sean McAdam. So again, thank you to Sean for writing that and producing such great content and great quotes from the one and only Craig Breslow, which again gives us a whole lot of context about how it looks on the insides and of this Red Sox organization surrounding this topic. But the last thing we're going to highlight is this segment from MLB Hot Stove, again, the segment MLB Hot Stove on MLB Network, where we see Harold Reynolds as well as others discuss this idea, where they were initially discussing how Bregman as well as Crochet really looked in their opening performances against the Toronto Blue Jays for this Red Sox team. Now, if you didn't watch the last episode of Red Sox Digest, we broke down these performances in Crochet as he struck out his first 4 guys that he saw in a Red Sox uniform. He sat down the first 3 guys, strikeout, 4-pitch walk, strikeout, and then he struck out the 4th guy that he saw in totality, the first guy in the 2nd inning. He got pulled at the 26 pitch mark. Again, there was a cap. Cora walked out. It was all smiles all around the diamond at that mound visit. And again, he quickly got relieved. It was a great performance from Crochet. But Bregman is the topic of conversation. Now, he was only a triple shy of a cycle in that game against the Blue Jays. Again, can't wait to see how he peppers that wall in Fenway as, again, playing in Fort Myers. I believe it's JetBlue Stadium. It's a replica of Fenway. Again, the wall is 4 feet higher here in Fort Myers compared to Fenway. And Bregman looked right at home, and I can't wait to see him have... I want to say an MVP-like year with the Red Sox as he's going to feast off that Fenway wall, off the Green Monster, and I can't wait to see it. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because not only do they credit both Bregman and Crochet's performances, because, again, they were phenomenal. It was fantastic to watch, and it makes me itch to see them do it again and again and again. And again, I really can't wait till Game 1, and Game 10, and Game 100, and Game 162, because it's going to be so exhilarating to watch these young men really propel this Red Sox team even more than they were last year at 81 and 81, which was considered overachieving last year. But again, the reason we're bringing this up is because Bregman played third base for the Red Sox defensively. Now, Harold brings up a phenomenal point, who is a 12-year vet in the MLB, has great points every time he's on the screen for MLB Network. Now, if Bregman, which we've had this conversation before, if Bregman was going to be the second baseman for the Boston Red Sox this up-and-coming season, and they were going to leave Rafael Devers at third defensively, wouldn't Bregman be getting all of the reps at second base, regardless of the lineups? Wouldn't Bregman have to be at second because he hasn't played second since LSU 10 years ago? And again, it might have been high school. It might have been freshman year of LSU because, again, he's been playing third his entire tenure in the bigs, whether it was with the Astros and now with the Sox. He has one appearance before the Red Sox. It was at third. Wouldn't you think he has to get all the reps defensively at second because of the lack of reps he's had over the last decade? And again, this is something Harold brings up, and it's a very valuable point. And they also use this graphic, defensive runs saved, in the comparison between Bregman and Devers. Obviously, Bregman's stats are coming from his tenure with the Astros. Again, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Again, those being the years that we're citing. Devers, -6, -9, 0, -9. And then Bregman, again, from 21 to 24, 6, 1, 3, and 12. Again, the numbers coming from Bregman are much, much better than Rafael Devers. And also, if you look at the WAR, the defensive WAR from Bregman compared to Devers, Devers also clears him again in that category. Harold goes on to mention that the Red Sox have a problem, and that's the way he says it. He says the Red Sox have a problem. What are you going to do with Tristan Casas? He believes that Bregman is, if Bregman at second, Devers at third, allows his team to be at its best. And again, this is Harold's idea. And again, you have to take it realistically because he is a experienced MLB vet, 12-year vet in the league. So again, he knows what he's talking about. But the idea is, it's just very interesting, and I can't wait to see how this all plays out. But again, Bregman played third. It's huge because it seems like Devers is going to be forced to DH, whether he is opposed to it or not. Let me know what you guys think about all of these quotes, as well as the information going forward on Bregman possibly playing third and Devers moving to DH. And really just Harold's comments about if this is the case. The Red Sox do have a problem. What do you do with Tristan Casas? What do you do with Bregman? What do you do with Devers? What do you do with Yoshida? What do you do with Kristen Campbell? There's a lot of different pieces that can have the ability to be moved. And I mean versatility around the diamond. I don't mean trades. But again, there's a lot of moving parts. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. I will see you guys on the next episode of Red Sox Digest. Thank you guys for watching.